In January 2025, the co-founder of one of the most prominent Bitcoin security companies was kidnapped from his home in France. His wife was taken with him, and during the course of the attack, one of the attackers severed his finger and sent it to his associates as a demonstration of intent. And what were the offenders asking for? They were asking for a ransom to be paid, 10 million euro in Bitcoin. That was the story of David Balland, a co-founder of Ledger, a man whose entire professional career and identity was built around keeping Bitcoin secure. There is a cruel irony here. None of it, not the hardware wallet or the multisig setup, was able to help him when an offender decided to use his body as the vector for attack. In 2025 alone, there was an attack on at least one Bitcoin or crypto holder every single week. Some datasets put it at 72 cases in 2025 with $40.9 million US stolen. And those are just the ones that we know about. As I'll explain down the line, that suggested figure is probably less than half of what actually happened. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elle. I am deeply interested in Bitcoin. I've been involved in the space for a while. I run Women in Bitcoin Sydney, and I also studied crime in university. I think this background gives me a pretty unique angle to be able to comment on the evolving discourse around the physical attacks on Bitcoiners. I also just attended Bitcoin Prague, which, as far as security goes, is pretty much like shooting fish in a barrel when it comes to target selection for Bitcoiners, but that is actually exactly what got me thinking. I have been thinking about this problem of personal physical security as a Bitcoiner for a very long time now, and I have decided to put some method to this madness. I've actually started properly researching it now with a methodology, a dataset, and using the criminological frameworks that I am training in. And what I have found so far has not failed to disappoint me. One, this is one of the most under-researched areas of financial crime. It's very niche, so that makes sense. Two, the data is an absolute mess. There are numbers all over the place from different institutions, and there are different classifications for different things. This makes it very, very difficult to understand what is going on, who are the perpetrators, who are the victims, how much money is lost. And three, the Bitcoin community's response to physical attacks on Bitcoiners for their Bitcoin, in my opinion, has been directed in the wrong way. Now, to fetter your expectations, I don't have all of the answers. What is great about being part of this amazing Bitcoin community is that we all come from very different backgrounds, and hopefully we can all work together in order to reach some sort of conclusion. And this YouTube channel is my attempt to participate in that. So let's get to it. What on earth is a Bitcoin wrench attack? The term wrench attack comes from a 2009 webcomic that basically made a joke saying you could build one of the world's most impenetrable cryptography security services, but all of that doesn't actually matter the second that someone decides to physically threaten or coerce the person who is holding the key. And the cartoon depicted someone being threatened with a $5 wrench until they handed over their password. Hence the term wrench attack or $5 wrench attack was born. Now, instinctively, we think we all kind of know what a wrench attack is. Someone is threatening you physically, so you hand over your keys. This is true. But one of the core issues in this field of research is that there is not really one definitive definition for what a wrench attack actually is. So this is my attempt to define it concisely. My working definition, which I developed from Ordekian's 2024 academic framework and my own research, is as follows. A wrench attack is any event in which a person is targeted with physical force, the credible threat of physical force, real-world psychological coercion, or deception involving real-world presence, with the intent to compel the transfer, disclosure, or surrender of cryptocurrency or cryptographic access credentials. That means that kidnappings, street robberies that demand Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, drugging attacks, intimate partner coercion, home invasions, all of that is included in my definition. But that means that things like email-only extortion with no real-world component is excluded. And it's a distinction that really matters because the threat models and the prevention strategies are completely different. And actually, conflating them is part of the reason why the community's collective response to this issue has been so inadequate. Bearer asset thefts are a tale as old as time, but what's interesting here is every other form of bearer asset theft in human history could be completed without the victim's cooperation. You can break into a house and steal the gold that someone has in their safe. You can take jewelry off a person who is restrained. You can steal cash from someone's wallet who is unconscious. In times past, the thief needs to overpower you or subdue you or bypass you, but never before has the thief needed you to cooperate in order to assist in your own robbery, at least not as a defining factor of such theft as it is with wrench attacks. Bitcoin in self-custody with the seed phrase in your head cannot be physically removed from someone. It can be memorized and it exists as information. Even if an offender finds a physical backup, executing the sweep requires technical knowledge and it leaves blockchain evidence. Thus, the asset, Bitcoin in this scenario, is inaccessible without the owner's cooperation and active assistance. So what does a criminal do? They don't steal the Bitcoin. They steal the person until the person hands over the Bitcoin. So it's interesting, robbery has existed forever, but never quite in this fashion. I think it's a novel category of crime where the offender is simultaneously the target, the obstacle, and the necessary mechanism to actually bring this all together. And our legal system, our law enforcement responses, and honestly, our community discourse has not quite yet caught up to that reality. Bearer assets have always attracted violent crime. The pattern here is consistent across centuries. The more portable and liquid an asset, the more attractive it is for a criminal who is willing to use force. And unfortunately, Bitcoin is the ultimate expression of this pattern. A 24-word seed phrase can represent more wealth than a house, a fleet of cars, a yacht, or a lifetime of savings. All of that, and it fits right in your mind. Everything that makes Bitcoin valuable to us as Bitcoiners can also be perceived as very valuable to the people who want to take it from us. Maximum portability, liquidity, self-sovereignty, the ability to be transmitted anywhere in the world in a matter of minutes, the irreversibility of that, the exact same features that make Bitcoin the most compelling monetary asset in all of human history is exactly what makes it also a very attractive asset to steal. I still believe in Bitcoin fully. It will take a lot to change that perspective of mine, but the argument here that I'm putting forth is to be able to understand this situation honestly. And I say this because the Bitcoin community, both in person and online from my experience, seems to approach this physical problem as something that can be easily remedied with technical solutions or better custody architecture. And also sometimes even suggesting that this isn't a problem worth our time. Clearly, I reject both of those singular narratives. This is a problem. Community fear and crime data show us this, but it's a problem that needs to be approached and deconstructed holistically. And I would argue that Bitcoin wrench attacks are as much a social problem, if not more, than they are a technical one. And understanding social or cultural issues goes beyond custody tech. I hope that you have enjoyed this introductory video, and I hope you're just as keen as I am to learn more about this issue. I am not an oracle, but I have done a lot of research on this, and I do have some very strong opinions and experience in the community, so I'm hoping through that I'm able to earn your time. As always, questions, comments, or critiques, please put them below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.